Hello class, I hope you're doing just as great as I am and are just as excited as I am into finishing this mini master. As for my last speech, I would like to talk to you about what we can do or inform you about what steps we can take into the sexual harassment at work. So it is always good to know that we can take legal actions against being sexually harassed. And personally, me, since I'm a woman, I'm more vulnerable into being sexually harassed, especially over the streets, because over there there's a lot of disrespectful people that will be always yelling you disgusting things. So I've never experienced any sexual harassment at work, but it is always good to know, and most importantly, since you're a female. So as we all should know, we should be really peace. We should have that peace in our workplace, at our schools, and at our jobs. We should be really comfortable over there. So let me begin by telling you a little bit about what sexual harassment is. So according to the Equal Employment Opportunity Commission, sexual harassment does not have to be of a sexual nature. However, it can include offensive remarks about a person's sex. So, now that I've more or less explained to you what sexual harassment is or includes, then let me begin by telling you what we can do if we're being sexually harassed. So the first step will be don't keep it to yourself, because it is always a good time to speak out. And sexually harassers may not always realize that their behaviors bother you. So just talk to them, let them know that you feel uncomfortable, that their behavior doesn't like you. And sometimes this may fix the problem because, oh, you already told them, and they may or may not be able to not do it anymore. And the second one would be speak to whom you trust the most, even though it sounds ridiculous or dramatic, but you should do that because that way you have someone to back you up, and either ways the thing gets more complicated and your employer doesn't believe you. And let's go before the second step, go to some statistics. So according to a survey conducted by the Indian National Bar Association earlier this year, found that about 38% of the participants, either male and female, of the 6,047 had faced sexual harassment at the workplace, and the other 62% though didn't decide to report it due to the fear of embarrassment or due to the fear of being fired. So before going to the two-step again, let me explain to you that there's two types of sexual harassment. And the first one will be the quid pro quo, and that's meaning that having sexual favors in exchange for some benefits. So let's say your boss wants you to have relations with him and he'll give you a raise or he'll give you a promotion or any benefit. And the second one would be the hostile environment, and that one includes your emotions affected. So according to a web page, it arises when speech or conduct is so severe and pervasive that it creates an intimidating or demanding environment, or situation that negatively affects a person's job's performance. Okay, so now let's go to the second step. Either way, our first step didn't work out. So the second one would be the documentation or the recording things or having a file. So according to Donna Bauman, the author of Stand Up For Yourself Without Getting Fired, suggested us that we should have any type of documentation of the harassment, any type. And to go a step back, the quid pro quo and any different comments or any different treatment that seems weird to you from your harasser. You should document anything. And to give you an advice, I would recommend you to have everything written on a paper. Either way, you have the proof, the real proof. So, and according to a Chrono website, documentation of the harassment is essential, both for sustaining a harassment complaint and for defending allegations of harassment. So the first thing that you should do is record our employment handbook. If you're managers, we should use some guidelines that your employee can follow in order to record any type of documentation that they may need or fill out some forms. And then the second one would be review what constitutes workplace harassments. May include some laws such as the Civil Rights Act of 1964, as mentioned before, the EEOC, and the third one would be list pertinent info, like the employee's name, date, as I mentioned you before. Okay, so as I said before, you should do your reports by hand. Put the date, the employer name, or in anything. And remember, your employee doesn't have to be fired. They just have to talk to them so they can stop the behavior again. And if my two first steps didn't work out for you, and if you're still being harassed, then you should go to the most dramatic level, which will be having the loss. So you should take legal actions against your harasser in case the two steps before didn't work out for you. And the first thing you should do is file a claim with the U.S. employment condition. And so all files should be submitted within 180 days prior to the incident. And then the equal employment condition will just do their own research and do an investigation whether or not they press the charges. Okay, so sexual harassment law is primarily a large part of the employment discrimination law. The civil rights law, and in some cases may also result in a personal injury lawsuit. Okay, so the other one will be that according to the NOLO website, we should know that we can get financial compensation due to the harassment. So if you're being successful in your claim, the amount of financial compensation depends on what sort of harm you've suffered. So they can give you either a back pay or a front pay. The back pay is like, for example, let's say you were fired, they'll give you a raise. They will relocate you into the store or the company, whatever it is, and the front pay will be that you get that you will be compensated for any emotional upset you had through the harassment. And so, having all these things considered, let's not keep quiet and do something about it. It is always good to know that wherever or whenever we are being sexually harassed, that we know that we can take legal actions against it. And the first thing you have to do, as I said before, is speak out to the harasser. Let them know that their behavior bothers you, and if they stop it, that's okay. And if not, you can go ahead and take the second step, which would be the legal actions, like go to the EEOC, file a claim. Then if it is accepted, then you get the right to sue. And if you are, then you'll get the back pays and the front pays and everything. So it is very important that you know that you can have legal actions back you up for that. Okay? Thank you.